Edward Gaming very convincingly take Game 1 over JD with the standard Edward Gaming show. Clear Love returns to fully demonstrate what exactly the Clear Love effect is and how it works in action as we see all of the side lanes work in tandem to create a truly terrifying macro force that JD stand no chance against. And of course, as a result, that means that Clear Love takes our MVP for that Game 1 performance. Can you really think it's anything else when he makes his grand return to the LPL?
Unsurprising. I'm actually surprised that this is his first MVP.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised he got the MVP, but I'm like, wait a minute, only one to start this
So
off?
far, it's only been 5 games.
It's only been 5 games, but 100% win rate on those 5 games with the immediate impact on the team that it was clearly shown. It's breathtaking to watch, and to reiterate on what the Clear Love effect really is in practice, it's about paying attention to minute details happening in the lane. It's about positioning your laners in closer to yourself, so even if you can't win the 1v1, your laner is going to show up in the fight first. Yeah. It's about a lot of times holding the wave and forcing the enemy jungle to you and forcing them to reveal themselves, and you can punish them very hard that way. It's about constantly stopping the enemy from backing at the correct timings that they want to. These things add up, and these things are what Clear Love is a master at. And he's very pesky to play against.
Even at the most basic level, it's the emotional confidence of bringing in the oldest player in the LPL right now, one of the strongest shot callers in the league, if not the entire world, and what that does for a team like EDG, who are already so skilled. Big shout out over to iBoy for his outplay against Imp. That could have been completely different.
Yes.
If Imp had flashed the wall and chased it down, he could have been feeling it. He could have been playing the carry vein and trying to turn the whole game around. But instead, iBoy, flash, Q, auto.
This is the play in the game where you go like, JD Gaming, you're against EDG. These risks are not worth it. Yeah. You can take the tower down without anyone rotating in time. You have the Herald, even if you don't have the minion wave, you will take the turret down. The Galio, Mako, and Scout were not able to rotate in time, and they still went for the super risky play, and you just can't do that against the top teams. Yeah. They will punish you.
And that absolutely showed in our last team fight as well, in which Edward Gaming dangled the carrot on the stick of the, we're going to 5v5 team fight, come at us, but it's not. It's a split. Yagao goes for the one-on-one versus Scout, turning it into a 4v4, and that means that JD are forced to pick a less than desirable target of Clear Love. Take a look at this. Yagao splits bottom, and that means the 4v4 shakes out in favor of EDG.
I think for this fight, if you just watch Imp and how hard it is for him to actually maneuver around this situation, he dodges around the Vladimir, but then still gets tagged by Clear Love. The target selection to start the fight off initially was kind of suspect, and you could see the concave coming in from EDG. There was no single direction which Alistar could just go like, you know what, I'll just push in this direction and all of the threats are going to be out of the way. He pushed one direction, and there's still 3 threats around him.
Yeah, it's almost like the Spartans, how they would put their shields together, and if any one Spartan breaks and drops the shield, the whole line crumbles. But EDG, they line up, they know that they've got the front line, nobody collapses, nobody caves, and it works out. iBoy then gets the chance to ninja leap over the shields and just do some crazy iBoy things and pick up that kill onto Imp at the very end. But still, this is EDG playing that macro style that we know and love from this team. JD, we asked how they split it apart, and you mentioned in pregame for Game 1, target Clear Love. Get him in a one-on-one. Deny the Clear Love effect from taking place in this game. Levi wasn't able to do it. Can Flawless make it happen, though?
I hope so. He has the name of the hunter-killer jungle in the LPL. He likes to solo you out. Lee Sin, he's also very versed on that champion. Kha'Zix is another one where he could potentially find a lot of success just trying to duel Clear Love out. What I want to see from them is really put the pressure on from minute 1. Try to target him. Try to go for a level 1 where you just at least split the map up or get a good read of where Clear Love is going to be on the map, and then try to just look for him.
The big concern, though, is it's Flawless. He may be the hunter-killer on one side, but then there's the other half of the coin. Yes, he likes level 2 invades. He likes hunting out the enemy jungler and trying to kill them. But it is a bit of a coin flip. He is a tad inconsistent in these invades. So is it a valuable idea to put that much investment in Flawless, knowing that he can be inconsistent?
Well, with the level Levi's playing currently, I think it is. It's very apparent to me that Flawless has better communication with the team. This is something that JD Gaming has been saying all split. they like Levi, but he doesn't speak enough Mandarin to really roll with all the communication that's happening in a messy game like this. Flawless speaks perfect Mandarin. He's been here for a long time. He's been on Rogue Warriors. He's been with Aimee. So he knows his role. He knows how to communicate with it. And maybe that's going to be the key factor to really match up against Clearlove.
So then if I'm EDG and I know that Flawless is coming back in, do we put Clearlove on Sejuani or Gragas, something a little bit tankier to not take the level 2v2 and play a safe jungle? I see you're looking at me funny. Do we play Clearlove back, or do we continue to keep him on the Jarvans, on the Xin Zhaos?
You keep him on something that has a counter pick potential, because the jungle matchups currently are very segmented between matchup. It's not like the past where you just pick whatever strong jungler there is and you forget about it.
Yeah.
Right now, let's say you pick an Olaf, he picks the Skarner. Olaf doesn't do much.
Sure.
Can't really run through the Skarner.
They undertow and very slowly run away from each other.
You pick the Olaf, and someone maybe has the Kindred and stuff like that. There's a lot of different matchups where one side can get a sizable advantage. So I think in this type of scenario, you want to hide what Clearlove actually has.
Okay, especially considering you've already taken game 1. You don't need to show your hand in game 2.
Let him counterpick.
Even more so, it's still the middle of the season. If EDG are able to close this out with a 2-0, they're not giving away a lot of information as we get closer to playoffs.
Yeah, I need to say, with our playoff format, which is 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, minute changes is actually super important. It could be the difference between playing RNG and Sino Dragons. That was actually a realistic scenario between the difference between 3rd and 4th.
Yeah.
Earlier on in the split. So it's very jam-packed in the top, and you really are looking to target one of those lower teams, and whether you end up 4th or 5th makes a massive difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And knowing how both of these teams are currently sitting in the standing, JD at 5-2, EDG at 4-3. If EDG win, they'll tie it up. Not quite sure how the point breakdown works, who for who's in favor in terms of the 2-0 versus the 2-1, but certainly JD want to keep that head and shoulders above EDG to make sure they are safe from, like you said, that Sino Dragon versus that Royal Never Give Up. Here you can see Flawless on your screen. We just saw him take a seat in between the Dunkling brothers, and the first thing he did when he sat down and put on his headset was laugh and grin. So already showing that emotional resilience that bringing a new player in can provide by bringing up the energy of his teammates.
I still have a lot of hope for Levi to show up gradually. I think he might be a little bit rusty. He actually sat the entire year out in 2018 when he was at NALCS. Did not get to play a single LCS game. Only showed up during Rift Rivals as kind of like a let's pray
a token game.
Yeah, a token game that didn't really mean much for the region. Well, EU will say it means a lot, but
sure.
I don't think NA really cared about it that much. So I think Levi just needs his time to learn the language and get accustomed to it. We've actually seen his super high highs. You remember 2017, 30 kills in 2 games, doing it against Condi. That's the type of performance we hope that he can pull out one day.
Yeah, perhaps it could be JD, again, taking that franchise approach. In 2018, they had Zoom and Yagao, and they were taking these 2 players as far as they could to grow them. Now they are stellar top and mid solo laners. They bring in Imp, who's been putting on some great work in the bottom lane, along with Luma to help him out, and you pick up Flawless to act as a transitional bridge before Levi starts to ascend above that. So again, it could be JD just looking towards the future, but now looking at this game right here, Flawless has got his work cut out for him. He knows he's got to bring down Clearlove, which when you say it on the desk in front of you guys and the camera and you folks at home, it's like, okay, he's going to bring down Clearlove, but I want you really at home, say it. I need to kill Clearlove in the jungle. Go ahead. It's real tough. When you actually put that thought into your head, this is the oldest player in the LPL that you've got to chase down. He has got so much experience. He's got the EDG roster behind him. There's a little bit of weight to that.
You actually make it sound easier. He's probably going to die of natural causes or something.
Exactly.
You know?
Oh, no.
But Clearlove, the thing about him is if you play unpredictable, if you're crazy, if he cannot expect you, if he cannot pierce the veil of your mind, then you actually beat him.
7 years, is it? 7 years of experience? Or is it 6? 2012?
You start playing, he was around earlier than that.
Yeah. LPL started 2013, so he was around 2011. 8 years of experience.
Yeah, probably even, I'd count that as pretty much 9 at this point.
How on earth do you bring something new against a guy who's probably been around since the beta?
A lot of people have done. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
A lot of people, if you play outside the box, if you're willing to ISO on this, man, you know, go the James Harden route, you know, take the 2 steps. And
Absolutely.
Just break him down that way. That's the way you break down EDG.
That's what it takes,
You can't let their Clearlove, their shot caller, just make all the decisions on the map. You have to make it difficult for him. Make him juggle his objectives.
And already that's what we see. Flawless with the Jarvan counter pick away from Clearlove to try and limit him in this game too. Still plenty of champions for him to choose from. As, yep, there's the Olaf that you were talking about just a few moments ago. But it looks like instead they're going to prioritize that bottom lane once again. So EDG, same old bag of tricks. Imp is doing the same thing though. Picks himself up the Sivir super early on, showing his AD carry hand.
Works out fine against the Ezreal. We've seen this matchup quite a few times. He's just going to play for the early push. This is the position that JD Gaming has been putting Imp in most of the time. He's saying, hey, just get us a strong winning lane. Our solo lanes can carry the rest for us. So JD Gaming, it looks like they're still going to go for that, that counter pick in the top side, make Zoom their winning condition. It's not exactly the show that I wanted to see necessarily, because I feel like they let Clearlove actually walk away with a lot of options. The Olaf is still on the table, even if they're taking away the Nocturne and the Skarner.
Still plenty to see throughout the rest of this band. The Dumpling brothers could try to, instead of looking for perhaps a split push, a 1-3-1 or a 1-4, and look towards their own solo carry lanes, though it will be a bit of an uphill battle considering how Ray has been playing of late and how Scout on that LeBlanc in Game 1 put on such a clinic. He's still going to have just as much freedom of movement and exploration around the map. Lumao, oof.
The Vladimir is still up. With Urgot down, that means that there's not a lot of strong lanes that can punish the Vladimir.
Karma being looked at right now, but Lumao instead might just return towards that Alistar. Save that counter pick for the Dumpling brothers towards Zoom and Yagao. Give them the flexibility of choosing where that Rise ends up going. We saw Yagao hold his own against Scout during the laning phase. It wasn't until Clearlove allowed Ray to spill over that Vladimir from the top that really upset it, as iBoy gives us a hint of something old with that Evelyn hover for Clearlove.
I think the Olaf is fine. He does get locked in by the Cataclysm, but it's still a very strong jungle matchup. Xin Zhao, pretty much the same deal. It can solo out the Jarvan quite easily, but at the same time, Xin Zhao is a much riskier pick. If it doesn't go well, then it actually has like a counter snowball effect. I don't think he's actually going to go for the Riven. This is a pick that Ray is actually known for. He was a Riven player all the way back in C9.
Yep. Even before then, when he was on EDG, his one debut game, if I remember correctly, was a Riven match, full lethality, 2015 summer, way back. But instead it is the Aatrox that he decides to take instead. And EDG find themselves looking pretty strong just as well. Now JD, what's the counter pick? That Vladimir's still up.
Oh, you guessed it. Really good anticipation there. The Vladimir, it's great in teamfight scenarios. There's a lot of targets that don't have a lot of armor where you can take down, but it's not exactly what you would say considered strong in lane. So for EDG, they're still going to be running a sizable portion of the map. I think they're going to have their way in the top side. Just the 2v2 is so strong there that Zoom's, even though he got the counter pick, it's not a laning counter pick. It's more of like a team fight type of counter pick. So it's going to be very hard for them to play through the top side. I think JD Gaming actually need to focus a little bit more bottom. This is the lane where they can have the wave pushed in. If Flawless shows up, he's going to get chip damage. Or else he could bring Lumao and a Tor towards the mid lane. They could find some easy ganks that way. So the lanes have really shifted a bit, and you can see Clearlove, this is something that he actually never did well in his career, which is synergize with his top lane. Yeah. You're talking about Mouse, we're talking about Koro. There are very obvious cracks in those between those two players. Clearlove came from a system that said, hey, win bot lane, win everything. Yeah. You had Deft and Mako in the bot lane. You weren't going to go top for Mouse. You weren't even going to go top for Kuro. So that was kind of his mentality set in stone, and it actually has cost EDG a lot in previous games. It's a breath of fresh air to really see Clearlove focus towards his top lane, show some love.
It should be noted, he still had a bit of the old tendencies in that game one with his first gank bottom that was sort of denied and turned around. So maybe he'll have learned his lesson here in game two. Just go top. Just keep going top. Set Ray up. He's on the Aatrox. Get Ray to unlock and go towards mid lane and set Scout up as well. We'll certainly see as we prepare to load onto the Rift for this game two between JD Gaming and Edward Gaming. Because Clearlove, it always has been a bit of a crutch for him to rely on that strategy, but hey, if it works for so long, why change it? We'll certainly find out as we load in. EDG fans were nice and loud as the visitors to JD's home stadium here in Beijing. Let's see if they can match the volume that they provided, or if JD fans will provide the energy and the amplitude that the players need to get themselves back into this series and bring us to that all-important Game 3. Should I start it? There it is. And already EDG trying to control the river. They're doing the same thing LGD did, Clement. Double ward in the brush. Oh no, it's a zombie ward.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Okay.
This is pretty interesting towards EDG side. They actually had an early sweeper onto Clearlove just to make the potential of a 1v1 duel where the Xin Zhao can go in on the Jarvan a reality. And you have to see how worried JD Gaming are about this potential play. They've already sent Yagao towards that brush just to stand there and make sure that Xin Zhao's not going to try something cheeky.
Keep themselves nice and safe this early on as Clearlove goes for the red buff and immediately sneaks bottom, looking to get into the brush before any vision can be provided. Still level 1 from Lumao and Imp. They walk forward and suddenly there's a Clearlove. Quick knock-up from Lumao. Imp flashes away. He's not caught limp and instead is caught on his feet. Walks it off, keeps himself safe.
It's still a great trade for Clearlove. Gets a flash from Mako, and trade for Imp's flash, so that's an easy repeat gank coming in the future.
Flawless was about to step towards that mid lane, but I think he saw Scout put that ward down, so instead just pings on it and remains outside of vision. Clearlove, I think he might have been spotted there. No, he actually wasn't, as he loops around the vision and will be caught by this ward here as he heads towards that top lane. So already EDG controlling the river of the map. They know Flawless is going to look for invades, but if he can't get into the jungle without being spotted, that gives EDG a chance to respond, collapse, and punish.
Yeah, they know Flawless actually started without a single leash, so he should be quite low. Xin Zhao is free to roam around the map however he wants to at that point, and it's going to be a double scuttle start from Clearlove. I've actually seen this in the game he played against Rogors and Shuzu, where I don't think Shuzu ever saw a scuttle for a very long time until he got out of the laning phase. That's the type of control that a player like Clearlove can assert onto the map. And I would like to pull a little bit of attention towards the top side. Zoom going for a Ruby Crystal start. Now this start is basically saying, hey man, you know what, let's not fight. I'm just going to stay here. This is the most cost-efficient item. It takes me to my item breakpoint. The fastest. I'm willing to just stand behind and take everything you throw at me. Let's just not trade that much, okay?
I'm just trying to be copacetic, man. Everything's cool up here. Zoom is just trying to catch these minions as they're slowly coming in, using that blood rush to heal himself up, but Flawless and Yagao, you immediately saw the question mark pings. Flawless is spotted in this tri-bush, will be able to clear out the control ward, it looks like, as he rides away to safety and just gets a bit of harass onto iBoy with some help from Imp and even clears out the river, but still it's EDG cognizant of the Flawless invade. By the time they were behind the red buff, the question mark pings were coming out from EDG.
It's a really good play from JD Gaming. It fits their win conditions perfectly. This is the main point on the map where they can move their pressure around to influence the other parts, so I like getting that going. For Clearlove, however, he does have actually a sizable level lead at this point. Mid lane's already pushing. So the question really is, what can Flawless do when Clearlove goes into his jungle? And I think Clearlove is going to look for that top side, make sure that he can drive both of his solo lanes, drive that solo lane victory home.
It is an easy win condition. Set up Ray, set up Scout, allow them to snowball and carry the rest of the game, but already Flawless is set to try and upset that as he's trying to sneak bottom. This wave is going to slowly push in. He's going to have to be here for a while because that wave is about to catch. Oh, yeah, that's real far. Flawless! What are you
No,
doing?
the
Oh, okay,
bug,
observer bug. All right, there we go.
It's not actually
Oh, and
his fault.
immediately, as he actually I can't tell what he's doing.
Bug.
I think he's starting recall and then canceling it, and starting recall and canceling
That's
it, which
probably
is why
it.
he's teleporting. There he goes. Yeah, you can see on the minimap, he's actually channeling the recall here and heads back to base. So puts the time in, doesn't get the reward, but he was still looking.
Yeah, that's a lot of time wasted, I have to say. Already down 10 CS at this point, and I understand that Flawless wanted to avoid the Xin Zhao going into his own jungle, but he didn't find any play in the bot side either, and this is actually worse for him. Clear Love now even further ahead with a LeBlanc.
Uh-oh. That's the ultimate out of Ray. Drops on down and resets turret aggro. Suddenly Scout from out of nowhere. Sad face. Finds himself first blood.
That looks a little too easy, honestly. This is kind of what Flawless does. You had a very janky start. Actually, no leash at all whatsoever.
Jank. I like it.
Yeah, gets low. Clear Love able to run him off the map. Just better experience from the early clear.
Yeah, perhaps it was a little too much emphasis from JD on solo lanes. They didn't want to give anything up, so they end up sacrificing in the jungle to try to keep even, and that's where it sets them behind. An inch here, an inch there, and next thing you know, against EDG, it's a mile. It's
very reminiscent to how XX was able to run Flawless off the map. Just farm out early, all of your lanes play defensive, make sure nobody dies, and suddenly you have a level lead. 15 CS up, it's 4 camps, and you can run the map however you want it.
Yeah. So far, Clear Love is still just sticking in his own side of the jungle, outside of that brief roam up towards the top side. However, Infernal Dragon is up, and we've got some initial buys out of the members of JD as Zoom heads towards the mid lane. I think Yagao actually teleported top to catch that minion wave, while Zoom went mid as Flawless and Lumao. They've managed to catch Clear Love. He's ticking down low and does. Flawless finds the kill with the team effort of JD.
That was a very interesting play. So JD Gaming, they actually move preemptively and do a semi-lane swap earlier on to confuse EDG.
And it does yield some pretty big rewards. Ray, oof, he is just having a great time in this top lane. Riven 2.0 getting some big damage as Zoom is just getting chunked away. Uh-oh, that turret hit might put him in trouble. Doesn't have his ultimate, but Scout is on the way, spotted out by that ward. Both a zombie and a live one, but still Scout might be hunting for it over the wall. Zoom is still there. He's got the flash. Scout with the chase. Ducks down from the Sigil of Malice, but here comes the Ethereal Chains. Flash and a sidestep. Zoom gets out safe.
Very well played from Zoom's side. Both sides were holding on to the distortions. They were thinking about when the main skill was actually going to come out. Can Flawless actually punish here? He should know Scout's position.
There he goes, manages to get the knock-up. There's the Realm Warp from Yagao. Zoom is the target, one Sigil of Malice. That means no distortion to get out of this one. Rune Prison onto the same target. Yagao finds the kill as Scout goes too far.
Yeah, Scout chose a very odd place to back in. Wanted to apply pressure while backing at the same time. Probably a greedy call from them. And this is going to give Rise a very easy time.
Ooh, flash engage. Imp gets absolutely deleted as iBoy and Mako turn onto him and force Lumao out of this one. Doesn't even get a chance to alter Spell Shield.
I want to see that again. That was just so fast.
Mako just starts the Shield of Durand, flashes onto his face, and then he's dead.
Where were all the skills from JD Gaming? It didn't feel like he should be able to go down that easily.
Imp missed his flash, he missed his Spell Shield, and then he was caught in the taunt, caught by the knock-up, and by that time, iBoy had done enough damage.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that Imp didn't respond to the first chain, and there's nothing you can do after that, but it felt like Luma also didn't really contribute much to that.
Yeah. I think he might have tried to go in on iBoy.
Yeah, and iBoy just was out of position for
Arcane shifted forward or something, got the buffer out of the knock-up, who knows.
I really want to see that play again. That was just lightning fast. I was
Real
still
quick.
thinking about what to talk about.
But hey, it was a good time to recall anyway. BF Sword picked up. He's got himself a longsword and boots, so no big completions, but the wave gets pushed in to roughly equalize against iBoy. And with the Sheen and a Tier, it shouldn't be too big of a difference between these bottom lanes, despite that kill going over to Mako.
Just looking at that, still very beneficial to the Ezreal. He's supposed to get pushed in. He's supposed to lose turret plating. None of that is happening earlier on. He even has a cull going.
Especially against the Sivir.
Yeah, so In terms of CS, yeah, fine. In terms of matchup, pretty bad.
Especially when you look at the dragon that's still up. Infernal is there and ready, but it looks like Clearlove uses that knowledge to bait out and turn towards the Rift Herald instead. Control ward in the pit, plus vision control and lane control on both sides of it. JD are instead turning towards the Infernal, realizing now that something's amiss, but now they've got to head through mid lane through a very dangerous path of that scout to keep an eye on it. Already, though, Clearlove is still working on this Herald, down to half, maybe just a little bit lower. Flawless finally gets there. True Shot Barrage finds a bit of damage onto Zoom to keep him under the turret, but now JD know that the Rift Herald has begun. It's down to 2,000 health. Clearlove is so close. Realm Warp to get him there just a little bit closer. 2,000 health, 1,500. There's the Crescent Sweep. Flawless finds Clearlove. He's still got the Smite, 700, 800, 800 even less, but Flawless ends up going down. They're continuing to chase it away. Shelly resets as they want the kills instead. Yagao and Lumao get in there. Zoom trying to join the fight, but here comes Imp. He's got the throw of the hunt, but with the team of JD split up, he decides to back away.
So the kill trade was actually even, but the big win for EDG here is that their bot lane is still pushing. It's free farming time from him. No one's really stopping Mako at this point.
Oh, that's the flash and the hit. Oh, Ray doesn't quite get the critical damage onto Zoom, and he's allowed to walk away with his life. He thought he had it.
Very close trade right there.
Yeah, super early Seekers from Zoom, too. Builds the armor because he knows he's going to be in trouble with how Ray is playing.
Yeah, it's really rough. The mid lane was a big difference as well. Mid lane, usually the Rise isn't that pushed in. With the Aftershock, Scout is not supposed to have the early combo ability to take out Yagao. But throughout this matchup, we've seen Scout always have the first step in leaving the lane. That's really influenced how the top side has already played. Because top side, you see a Vladimir with the Ruby Crystal. You know he's going, I'm not going to contest anything. It's a far worse sustain item. Let's watch this fight again. So everyone pulled towards the map. The big difference here is that JD Gaming do actually send their bot lane a little bit faster in this scenario. They do trade jugglers back and forth, but none of the laners themselves are actually killed in this fight. And I don't think JD Gaming actually managed to take up Herald afterwards either. No, they don't.
It is still up, waiting to be taken for the next 7.5 minutes.
So that overall was still a pretty favorable trade for EDG. iBoy being the main benefactor of it.
Now 10 CS ahead of Imp. Still only the single death of Imp this far in the game, 0, 1, and 0. He's finished off his Storm Razors too, so he's feeling a little bit more comfortable in this laning phase, especially if he manages to get the spontaneous auto attack onto iBoy here and there. Sivir perhaps a bit more capable with the Spell Shield of soaking some of the damage that iBoy can put out as opposed to the Vayne from that game 1. But still, JD, they're just trying to hold on in this laning phase. EDG are the ones still setting the pace, still controlling the vision, still choosing the next objectives that they want to focus as a trade-off of that lane pressure. The question is, what is that objective going to be? Infernal, or Rift Herald, or perhaps even just a good old-fashioned gank and dive?
Definitely looks like it. Just watch the amount of vision that EDG have on this bot side. Good reaction. They didn't actually spot Flawless, but did have the fingers to take themselves out of that situation. And this is another thing that I feel like Clearlove does pretty well, is that he sets up one lane where it's so far ahead that not even the jungler can really impact it, and he can just roam around and do whatever he wants. And doesn't really need to put much resources or attention there. Just needs to make sure he himself isn't caught.
It almost seems like that might be what we're seeing in the top lane, but as opposed to Ray roaming around and affecting the map, he's just opening up his advantage up top. 33 CS ahead of Zoom, who picked the Vladimir into this. He knew what he was getting into.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised by the Vladimir. I felt like Zoom, if I was JD Gaming, I would need to go for something that actually does well in the laning phase. I'm trying to think what does well against the Aatrox. There aren't actually that many options, to be frank.
Victor?
Victor's
just sit really far back, keep dropping lasers?
Yeah, it's been nerfed
maybe?
quite heavily. Kennon's a good answer. Kennon could have been one, but we haven't really seen Zoom touch the champion yet.
Oh, no! Clearlove with the red buff tick.
That's also classical clear love, by the way.
Yeah, he was walking. He didn't even attack. He was just walking away from it. 15 health, and it ticks over to give him the blue buff. Bit of a tragedy, especially seeing how low mana Scout is right now. He doesn't have teleport either, so with clear love turning onto the Rift Herald, we see Yagao with the blue buff turning instead down towards that bottom lane, towards that Infernal Dragon. I don't know if JD had vision of what went on with the blue buff being passed over, or knew that the Rift Herald was being taken, or if they just went into all chat and said, truce, we'll take bottom, you take top, and call it even. Call it splitsies.
It's going to be a fight for the first tower now. EDG is going to take it.
Already at
like
such low health, yeah. That's absolutely first brick for Ray. All of that solo gold. Num, 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 num. Love it. Ray is a big boy. Yomu's done. Turrets will be traded over 1 for 1, but still the Herald is pushing, whereas the Sivir on the other side, maybe not quite as effective as Shelly into pushing into turrets. Oh, that's a big chunk. So things feeling pretty good. Here's the conversion we were talking about. Clearlove has affected top lane, so much so to the point where he can pretty much do whatever he wants. He's got that first turret. He's got his first item, 0, 0, and 2. It looks like his first order of business is to be caught over a wall and flash to safety.
But hey, that's still a lot of time to rotate towards mid. He rises out of position at this point.
Now, step 2, rotate towards bottom, get caught out of position, flash away towards safety, or what are we looking at?
JD Gaming's back in business.
Back in the game, boys!
Yeah, you got the script down. You really want us to watch that game 3.
Never in doubt. Never in doubt.
More action is always good.
Of course. More LPL, Clement. 16 teams, not enough. Not enough.
I can't believe we're actually doing 20 teams.
20? Oh.
It's so insane. Like, there's a lot of these teams. I don't think most of our Western viewers can name their entire roster. There's a lot of players on those teams.
Yeah. They
run 10 members sometimes.
Oh, yeah, with substitutes as well?
Yeah.
Heck, people even have trouble with, like, the NALCS. What is that, 10 teams?
Yep,
8?
10 teams.
I don't even remember anymore. Uh-oh, True Shot Barrage. That's the Realm Warp, actually, to get Yagao to join in. There's the Cataclysm. Mako looks like he's in the front. The knock-up from Lumao as he chases them outside of the Cataclysm. He ends up going down. Crescent Sweep as Clearlove soaks a few hits. Hero's entrance from Mako and a quick hero punch to get back to safety. JD thought they wanted the fight, but instead they just gave over a kill.
Yeah, it's a 4v5 situation for EDG as well. So once again, they have an extra split pusher. Ooh,
oh,
can Scout dive?
Ooh, double distorts away. Ethereal Chains, flash from Flawless to get away from Clearlove because there's a teleport in the back. It's not just Ray, but it looks like it's also iBoy getting in on the action. They want some blood, and they are going to find it. Ray with a double kill is on the board. 18 minutes in, 6 kills to 3. He's 2-0-2 on Aatrox and 40 CS up.
And this is the new Ray. The Ray that wins
yeah.
up.
What was it you were saying in the pregame? Raz and you just want to put Ray on tanks? Clement? Run that by me one more time.
That was before Clearlove joined the roster. Okay, before Clearlove joined the roster, we were like, you know what? This team just doesn't have the communication to play a cross-map split-pushing game. It's actually really difficult to communicate these type of things.
Yeah.
But with Clearlove, things are vastly different. You saw in the pregame graphics that we had, he actually upped his damage percentage by about 3%. Let's watch this first. It's a 3v5 fight. Very well played by Lumao. I actually absolutely love the way he was able to follow up on that play. However, the damage didn't really go down on the targets it needed to be. iBoy was damaged, but he couldn't finish the Xin Zhao. Scout was able to walk away. And this play, once this didn't land, they were pretty much dead.
And I think that right there is the difference in experience between JD and Edward Gaming. Visible in one single play. As EDG collapsed, backing and recalling, it was staggered recalls from EDG just in case anyone had anything planned. Whereas JD, if they wanted to chase and continue going deeper into the jungle, Imp had already backed away along with Lumao. So it was just Flawless and Yagao who were caught out of position in that play. So that right there, that one minute difference of two players not being on the same page is what tilts things over and gives Ray that double kill, which sets him up in that top lane. Well, I suppose now bottom.
EDG, they just read JD Gaming very well most of the time. I just feel like JD Gaming, they push for plays too much. They don't really do full resets. Like, it's very rare to see JD Gaming actually say, you know what, if we go back and buy our items, we're going to have a stronger presence on the map just 2 minutes from now.
Yeah.
They typically don't go for that. There's like, okay, let's take the third round of team fights. We won the previous 2.
Yeah. I think that's the difference between having, being able to predict what's happening versus having foresight into what's happening. EDG is a team that has foresight. They can see what's coming and react and prepare appropriately. JD is a team that tries to predict what's happening. They don't have the assurance of knowledge that EDG have and are often forced to pay the price because of it. Small differences in age and experience. The mechanical skill of each individual player as you go down the board, probably pretty close when you take it on a one-to-one scale. But again, this is Edward Gaming we're talking about. This is the Dynasty. It's not just the skill that makes this team so good.
And once again, JD Gaming are looking hard-pressed to find that supposed split push lane they were looking for. They were on the red side. They had both counter picks onto the solo lanes, but hasn't worked out for them.
He's going to live. Down. Yeah, should be fine. Meanwhile, Dragon is being picked up, so Scout's at the point where, true shot! Oh, Imp delays the recall too, I like it. He knew something was off the moment that iBoy ducked out of vision, but Baron has just spawned. Imp is off the map. Flawless might be caught, but takes a safe route out of the Baron pit and survives.
Sometimes I think if playing against EDG, oh, let's watch this fight first. Scout is poised to do a lot of damage here.
So much damage. Sorry. Sorry. I should.
It was a good point. It was a good point. He took a lot of damage
like that. You just set it up so well. Please continue. You had a point. They're just gonna keep dancing. Nobody's gonna go.
All right. Like another way to beat EDG without just forcing Clear Love's hand is just to go to the super late game. Like WE did it once before.
Oh yeah, the 2017 WE, 2018 WE.
2018 WE, they had a comeback game where they just said, you know what, I'm gonna pick a Zir. I'm gonna pick Caitlyn.
Oh my god, I remember that.
They lost 3 inhibitors and then won the game. EDG was
so
like,
dumb.
We won the entire map. They were ahead of tempo.
They won everything. They got to the Nexus turrets, and then the Zir was like, battle cruiser operational. And just started auto-attacking. It was great.
Oh, Scout's caught out here.
Oh,
I'm
no,
sorry, Flawless is caught out
yeah,
here.
I think it's Flawless who's caught out. Gets chunked down low. Ooh. I like those sound effects. I don't know what they were, but Flawless takes some hits and walks away. And JD, they're losing ground. They are trying so hard to keep side lanes pushed, keep pressure on the map. But look at this. EDG cannot be stopped. A single mistake, a single misstep, a single foot too far out of line. And EDG take another inch, get closer and closer to that mile of victory.
Watching EDG is like watching the Spurs. They're kind of boring in a sense that you know what they're going to do. It's like, it's very... they always do it. They're very consistent. They're very good at what they do. But they almost make it look too easy.
Yeah. I mean, they've been doing the same strategy for literally years. With Ray, it comes out to 2 years with this roster, I believe, with iBoy. And Clear Love as well. Haro on and off in there, but we'll call it 2 years.
And JD Gaming right now, they need to be able to find the engage. Their split pushing has fallen apart. LeBlanc is too far ahead. Yagao can't do it. Vladimir's been behind the entire game. 50 CS down now. So the only way JD Gaming can actually come back is they need to give up on just showing their solo laners and split pushing there. They need to go full on onto EDG where they might not be prepared. They have a couple members they can catch out. Both the Galio and the Xin Zhao are actually fairly easy targets to kill. But they do need to just make a straight up play in towards the mid lane and force things.
Look at how patient Clear Love is playing around this vision. He knew Flawless was there. I don't know if he saw Flawless, but he tracked him almost perfectly around that red buff. Now Yagao is going to try and get this. And if even your red buff is a risk to take, you're in a bad position. Flawless gets the smite secure, but already EDG are flexing on that side of the jungle. Ray has got Zoom pushed all the way up to his tier 2 bottom. He's got himself a safe control ward for the next dragon in 90 seconds. And still the Baron is on the map. Imp is holding the mid-tier 1 turret alive, but this crumbling facade is not long for this world. And if it is desperation that JD need to look for, they are running out of time unless, alternatively, as you proposed, they look for that 35-minute team fight. They look for that. Oh, Lumao.
Here they come.
All right, I had to say late game team fight. Immediately they engage. They turn it on. Clearlove goes in. Zoom in the back has found Iboy. You're exactly right. Clearlove burning down the Realm Warp to get them in there. Lumao dies as Ray goes for the flank. The knockup. Hero's entrance manages to get one. Zoom still alive. Heals himself up as Imp is on top of Ray. But look at the shred that Ray has got. JD had the fight, but JD ended up trading it over. Ray, can he get the cleanup? 1 versus 2. He's got the double kill, looking for the quadra. Flawless backing away as best he can, but Ray slams it down, finds himself a triple. Yagao running as far as he can, but the Destroyer Death of Eater of Worlds, Eater of Faces, is chasing him down, finds himself the Room Prison Blast Cone. Yeah, Ray sees the Blast Cone and says, all right, this chase is done.
Oh, that was a really close one. JD Gaming started the fight so well, picking out Iboy at the very start of it. They had the teleport wards. They were already pinging it. This is a play that JD Gaming absolutely had to make. They were getting suffocated. They needed to bring it into the team fight as soon as possible. It's a play they can't repeat that many times going forward. So if you want to talk about the general effects of this team fight, I have to say it's not enough, but it was a really cool attempt.
Points for trying, I think is what we're saying. And here's Lumao. He sees it. He goes in. Flash knockup.
It says, I'm not going to be fooled by this LeBlanc. Iboy's forced out really early on. Zoom just goes in and finishes him off. The Hemo play goes down. And they actually clearing up Clearlove, Mako relatively fast. I think the one thing that they didn't do very well was I felt like Imp probably died a little too fast in this fight. They weren't really looking at Imp. All of the Dumpling brothers were in. They were like, hey, let's pick up that Mako guy.
Yeah, kill Scout, kill Mako.
Imp could have done a lot more in that team fight if it was actually properly protected. Instead, Ray was allowed to solo him just 1v1.
We even saw Imp cognizant of Ray flanking from behind, taking the Realm Warp to get away, knowing that he still has nowhere else to go but into the Aatrox, using the Spell Shield to block away the first hit of that Darkened Blade. But still, it's the second and the third that you really need to be careful of. And you saw the burst damage that Ray did. 6, 0, and 3. Clement, 3 full items working on a 4th. Can you say chunky boy? Because he is a chunky boy.
He's very chunky indeed. I will say chunky boy. Are you happy now? Are you entertained?
I am entertained. He's real big. Oh, man. It's always fun getting to see Ray play a carry. I know. EDG, eventually you're going to put him on tanks. Once it gets to playoffs and Gauntlet and Worlds, they're going to put him on tanks. But it's in the regular season, in the thick of things, that we get to see his true character as a player. This massive AD lethality carry.
We were waiting for this for a long time. Ray was known for building Infinity Edge Jarvan in the top lane. But let's hold on to that.
Yeah, Yagao. I'm not sure if it's JD trying to bait it or the other way around, because Ray joins the fight and immediately splits it up. There goes the knockup, flawless, split away. Lumao doing everything he can to soak these hits, and they're actually getting some good trades off. Clearlove burning down, but still alive. Zoom now forced to tank. He goes in, drops into the Tides of Blood, heals himself up, gets Iboy, but he's now burning down the Ignite, ticking away. Mako will almost certainly die as he drops. They trade it back over. Scout joins in. Imp is looking for some hits. There goes the Realm Warp. Yagao does take it through. Scout baits out the Realm Warp in between 3 people. He dodges it, takes a hit, and walks away with his life. How did he see that?
The true magician off of that. JD Gaming actually come out ahead of this fight just because they got the kill trades, they got the even kill trades when behind. So props to them. But Scout really stole the show at the end of that.
I know a magic trick just occurred, but I don't know how or why. There were 5 cards, and then there were 6.
Yeah, it looked like what LeBlanc was doing that entire fight. He was just drawing them into different positions. They got Zoom on the very back end of that. Zoom already finished off Iboy, had to back out, and then Scout just pops in.
Yeah, finds himself the kill on the Zoom as, oh, Imp. Oh, and that's a shutdown. Oh, boy, that hurts. 7, 0, and 4.
What the hell was that damage?
He's real big. He is real big.
Chunky
He's level
boy
18.
in action.
He's
Chunky
level
boy
18.
alert.
The chunky boy's got a chunk, Clement. He's got a chunk. Oh,
I want to watch him
man.
just 1v3. It's like flawless. Please just go in.
Yeah, I know.
Go in 2.
Oh, man. Oh, almost gets to the Infernal Chains. So close. So close.
I think this is the best game Ray's ever played.
7, 0, and 4? What, it's
Probably
not the Maokai or the Sin?
Oh, no, it's definitely this.
Yeah, okay.
Here he goes.
That's it. He's found. That's against Zoom. That's against a Vladimir. Chunks him out in 3 hits plus an auto. Ooh. There we go. Zoom trying to bait it out. Tides of Blood. Drops himself into the Zanyas. Lumao popping the chains. Gets pulled back in. iBoy finds the kill. Yagao comes in from the side, but Ray will have none of it. Zones him out the far side. Finds himself another kill. Come on, Ray. What else you got? 8-0 and 4. That's nothing. I can get solo queue games like that in no time at all. 10 kills or nothing.
You're forcing him into streamer mode at this point.
This isn't a stream already, Clement?
Pretty much is.
He's taking donations, and the donations are his build.
It's your chance to do it.
Your time to shine.
I believe in you, Imp. Come on.
Scout's behind him. All right, that's the Boomerang Blade and the Spell Shield. And there's the Hero's End. Okay. All right. That's not great.
Spell Shield a little bit early right there.
Oh, no. Here we go. Ray, 904. Ah, come on, Clear Love. Gotta take it away from him.
Stop being a KDA player. Give it to your top lane.
Also, I don't know if you saw, when his health was going down, there was a moment where he was 1,500 and a moment where he was 100. I think that was the Q2 from Ray. As he's now zoning Flawless away. There is no escape. You cannot get away from me. Chases him over the wall, continues to hunt him down.
Oh,
meanwhile, the Baron's going on. Yeah, Zoom and Yagao, they're trying to get one Lumao. That's actually finding a kill. iBoy is dead. JD are trying to pick up some action here. Ray finally gets into the pit. Zoom is still there, but now it's the raid boss. It's not the Baron, but it's Ray. Clear Love gets the kill, locks it down. Ray is still chasing them down, finds himself another 9-0, ladies and gentlemen.
JD almost came back from the bloodlust. It almost happened. Flawless was able to draw Ray away from the pit. Zoom was in there. If he just finished off Clear Love, that was a 50-50.
It was. They were close.
It was not to be.
Clear Love stayed alive, though. That's the difference. Just a few health.
Yeah, this is the type of scenario where JD Gaming can actually come out ahead just because they team fight like 3 rounds in a row.
Colonel just giving the thumbs up to this game right now. I love it. But you're exactly right. If that had gone just a little bit differently, that could be JD with the Baron, stalling the game out, getting that Sivir to 4, 5, 6 items, getting that Yagao rise to 4, 5, 6 items and trading things over. And here we get to see that again. All right, here, let's watch Lumao and Zoom, because we know what happens with Flawless.
All right, Scout and Ray play this just a little bit too cute. They're like, we're going to make sure Flawless isn't in there.
Oh,
and they're like, wait a minute, Zoom's already here?
Yeah.
So they actually get a very quick kill onto iBoy. A bit unexpected. Clear Love doesn't go down, though. That's a key point here. They don't actually hand over the Baron. And even though Zoom gets a triple kill, 1,000 bounties.
We do have to remember that it was a 2v4 from Zoom and Lumao to stall out that Baron. So a valiant effort, but with 2 minutes on the Baron timer. Sand running out of JD's hourglass, though they are starting to get pretty close. I can't stop laughing at Ray. 6 items, Guardian Angel 6th. Sell the boots. What are you gonna buy? All right,
you can just go Phantom.
Yeah, let's get some donations. What is he gonna buy? 6th item. Rabadon's Death Cap.
If you leave it to chat, yes, that's gonna be it. Death Cap's gonna be the answer if you leave it to chat.
Please, give me those 6 items. Zerat Portal. Ooh, here's a good one for you.
Okay.
Atma's Impaler.
Oh, that's not even in the game
anymore. I know. Sword of the Divine. Oh boy.
Come on, Ray. Go on with the 1v3. I want to see some actual shows. He's standing
he's
right
looking
here.
At it. He's looking for it. You can see the assist pick.
Do we try to kill
JD
him?
would rather commit 5 people to defending against Ray than a single person to defend their top tier 2 turret.
They rope warped against Ray.
They're going to step forward now and start chasing down these kills. There goes the knockup. Ray is very far out of this fight. If JD can pick up a few kills before Ray gets there, then they're going to be okay. But the time has run out. Ray has joined the fray. Lumao gets knocked back in. 3-man, but there goes Ray. Finds himself one. 10-0 and 7. This man is unstoppable. Not a chance.
Oh boy, I never expected EDG to be the ones to pull out a top lane performance like this one.
Oh yeah. It's Ray. This is the first thing he did when he entered into the LPL in 2015. People forget that before he showed up on the AD Jarvan in C9, it was on EDG immediately after Amazing J. Way back in the day, the very first, I think it was Amazing J played Riven, and then Ray played Riven in a second game. and they both went something crazy like 7-0 and 4 or something.
I thought the saying was that you can take the mouse out of EDG. You can take mouse out of EDG, but you can't take
the top lane, mouse out of the top lane of EDG or something.
Yeah. But the top laner for the
I
for
tried
EDG
the same
always
thing
looks
earlier.
Like, I know,
it doesn't
exactly.
work.
It's so hard. Why is it?
It's supposed to work. No, but Ray.
Oh, you can take EDG out of mouse, but you can't take mouse out of EDG. There we go.
Okay, all right, yeah,
that
I
makes
see that.
sense.
I see that.
There we go.
That's it. Yeah.
That's the one we were looking for. But this is a new EDG. This is.
It is.
This is Kai Ray EDG. so Minkai is actually the name. Is his actual name for Clear Love.
Yep.
And the second word of course, Kai and Ray. You put that together.
Plus Ray, the player.
Yep. And that spells carry.
Kai Ray. Hey. Look, even the emotes are like, yeah, you got it. Okay.
EDG, you have to fault for them for this. They're playing a little bit loose.
Yeah, they're taking their time with it. This is a solo queue at this point. They're just running the clock, running the KDA.
Oh, the kill lead currently for this split, 18 kills made by LWX on Kai'Sa.
18 kills?
18 kills.
Okay, what about KDA? Because we've got 17 right now for Ray.
I think for single game it doesn't matter because there has to be someone that has a perfect KDA for single game.
Well, I mean, Ray is about to achieve the same darn thing. 10-0 and 7. He still hasn't sold his boots, though.
He's 8 kills away. He needs a full team wipe. And then for
25
EDG to not finish the game.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. The crazy thing is, he's still farming. What is he farming for? Why is he killing Gromp? Why is he going for side menu wave? What do you want?
Elixir?
When you're 10-0 and 7, level 18 with a full build. Give it to iBoy. Give it to Scout.
Scout actually got away from that. Didn't even need to pop the Banshee's veil. Good footwork, good footwork.
JD are looking for something, but Elder Dragon's up in 20 seconds, Baron 10 seconds after that. JD are well aware of what EDG are trying to do, but they see Ray, and they know they are in trouble. Also, that was a single distortion. I think Zoom is dead. Zoom is just dead.
Okay.
That's a lot of damage. Okay, EDG now turning on to the Elder Dragon and that Baron.
This is brutal. They're just breaking the spirit of JD Gaming at this point. They're like, hey, JD, remember the time where you actually beat us?
I think that's clever.
Oh, this is the 1v5.
That's clever.
Come on, Ray.
He sees it. Get in there, Ray. Oh, he's going to hop over
Come
the
on,
wall.
Ray, boy.
He pops over. Oh, and Lumau denies
him.
it. Gets the knock up over the far side. Ray is back into the pit. He's looking to finish off the Baron. He doesn't quite get the steal, but he finds himself another. 11-0 and 7. Clement chases it forward onto Imp. Splits him up. The flash from Imp to get out of this one as the Baron has been picked up, but it won't be lasting for very long because Imp steps back forward. Ray gets knocked out of this one as Lumau finds himself 1. 11-0 and 8. Imp ends up dropping down into the Guardian Angel and will die as a result. Ray brings it down. That's 11-0 and 9 overall at 20 KDA for Ray in this matchup. Yagao and Mako 1v1. When your mid laner has trouble with the support, you might be having a rough time. Mako is still continuing to kite this out. No way!
Oh, he's
Mako!
gonna win it.
Oh, nearly had it. Meanwhile,
he's trying his darn best. I think he has iBoy.
Doing this, his absolute darndest. He finds himself a kill, but what do you know? It's not going to be enough.
He actually saves the game.
He does. He's still alive. Also, 11-0 and 10. 21 KDA. Might kill Yagao here.
I'm really
pulls him
disappointed
back
with the rest
in.
of
That's
EDG.
the stopwatch. Under the turret. There goes the redemption. Ray's holding on. He's got the GA. Are they going to be able to bring down the raid boss? This is the real victory for the team. Pops himself the massacre. Still standing. 11-0 and 11. Ray is in the fight and still going. Lumau on the chase, but the cow cannot catch up with Ray. Oh my goodness, Clement.
Ray isn't even laughing. I don't understand how EDG is still... Because, to be honest, EDG is clearly not ending the game as fast as they could.
Yeah, they're
definitely
taking their
dragging
time.
this out. They're teaching JD Gaming a lesson about the futility of life. It's like a memento mori where all men must die. You just remember this lesson. EDG is going to teach it to you.
Oh, man.
At the same time, they're still so stern. Look at their faces. They're not even blinking.
They're not. I don't even know if EDG are enjoying this as much as we are.
We must make them suffer.
We must teach them, break their spirit.
This is cruel. This is
cruel and unusual punishment.
yeah.
Hey! Oh! We made it! We got a glimpse of somebody's computer. Oh my goodness.
I think the boys in Beijing can't stand it anymore. They're just like, please just end the game. How is this a 40-minute game?
Down!
There's
Why
no way
this
this
still
should
going?
be a 40-minute game.
11-0 and 11. Okay, so Ray has sold his GA and picked up a Spirit Visage, plus on top of the Death Dance, plus his natural regen. This is the chunkiest of boys.
You know what? I actually feel it.
Do you?
The League of Legends gods are going to frown upon this game. They're going to say, you know what?
We're going for records here, Clement.
We're going to go game 3.
We're going for records.
I feel it already.
Oh, that's what you feel.
I feel it already. We're going to miss the metro. We're going to have to get taxis.
It's 9 p.m. right now. I'm trying to see what the longest game in 2019 spring is so far.
Oh, boy. Come on, EDG. Today's March 2nd, right?
Yes.
Oh, I'm actually going to miss my mother's birthday. Oh,
it's her mother's birthday.
EDG, please, please.
Shall we just give her a birthday gift, Clement?
I love you, Mom. Happy birthday.
Here,
I hope you're watching this.
Let's give her a happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Clement's mom. Come on, chat, join in. Happy birthday, Clement's mom. Happy birthday. What's her name?
All right, I actually feel like it's gonna go to game 3 at this point. JD Gaming, they have all that pent up frustration. They're like, can you guys stop playing with us?
At this point, they
This is
are
in
at
front of
6
their
items.
home crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
JD are at 6 items. What was an opportunity to try to get back in is now very clearly an opening for JD. If EDG actually make a mistake, then JD could get back in. Ray could also just do that. Hop over the wall and punish Zoom.
Good. I have faith. I feel it. I do feel it coming up.
Okay, so the longest game right now is 49 minutes and 30 seconds. It was Team WE versus EDG. Surprise, surprise.
Engage.
Lumao's in the back.
It's a
Boy
front.
is the target. Good crescent sweep as the engage goes out. Ray is in the front, pops himself up. He's going low, though, ends up dropping and regenning. Zoom ends up going down real early, and Flawless in the back ends up finding himself split off. Imp is forced to turn and run as Ray manages to pull himself in. Absolutely brutal as Imp turns onto the fountain but drops down. The ace for Edward Gaming. Another double kill for Ray. 13-0-12. The 25 KDA for Ray as they turn onto the Nexus and EDG close the series.
42-minute game with close to 50 kills. I have to say, EDG were enjoying themselves at some point. This is not the typical EDG. This is sending a message to the league. You will suffer at our hands for challenging us.
Absolutely brutal. Oh my gosh. I would feel embarrassed holding a Ray sign after that. After a certain point, you put the sign down. You're like, oh, I was a fan. I'm still a fan. This is too much.
Yeah, it's very uncharacteristic game from EDG. Usually they do like to clean things out a bit more, but they did drag the game out a little bit. They had JD Gaming, gave JD Gaming quite a few chances to try and get back, get their engages on. They throttled every single one of them.
Did iBoy just not shake their hands?
I think he did. I think he did.
Okay, he just got through real quick.
No. It is viewed as quite disrespectful, even
Yes.
in the LPL, to not shake a hand.
I mean, especially after a game like that. That
Yeah,
sends almost as strong a message as the game itself. But still, good to see some sportsmanship out of EDG, one of the longest standing teams in the LPL history right now. And still showing that the dynasty is strong.
It's very well and alive. You can see EDG already at around 30 minutes. They already had that 10K gold lead. They did close out that game. They suffocated JD Gaming a little bit more. I would say, I would agree with you, it's unusually cruel punishment.
Yeah.
On the
It
side of
really seemed like
EDG.
the game was over, as you said, at about that 20-minute mark, and from then on, it was just EDG toying with their food. But we still have plenty that we can break down for EDG in this matchup, because again, those first 20 minutes were pretty instrumental. Seeing Ray take a laning advantage against Zoom and converting that into pressure. You talked about the Clear Love effect, what that does for the solo lane in terms of confidence and sort of laning prowess.
Yep.
But the moment you have Clear Love and Scout actually roaming top and compounding that, not just the effect of having Clear Love on the team, but having him actually gank and converting that into kills to allow Ray to snowball in such a ridiculous manner, I think that's the big difference.
the story of this game is that EDG solo laners are here to play. We used to think about EDG as pretty much the only lane that they could consistently win was actually the lane in the scouts lane, and they always play towards the bot side of the map. They're flipping over a completely new page. They're saying that's the EDG of the past. The EDG right now, full spectrum. We can carry from any single lane, and we can demolish you. We've never really seen an EDG in the franchising era where they could stand up to teams that to teams like the super teams.
Yeah.
Ray was always a bit of a liability. He had a very bad track record against Zoom. That's just facts out there.
Sure. It almost seems ironic, though, that when we're seeing their success in this way, it's through doing the same thing we've been talking about for years. Oh, Ray's on tanks. Wouldn't it be great if we could see him on a Jarvan or a Riven or a carry? Well, he's finally getting these champions. He's on the Vladimir, he's on the Jace, he's on the Aatrox, and he is tearing people apart.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just Ray finally getting carries or being allowed to pick them, or if it is ClearLove finally encouraging that, as you said, not focusing bottom so aggressively. But either way, it's working.
It definitely is, and I think it's a shock to the league because most people actually thought ClearLove was not going to come back. He was already streaming quite regularly. He was joking about, like, hey, don't think of me as a pro player. Think of me as your Valentine's. He had a lot of that going on with the community. He was definitely active in the community. And we just didn't think he was going to come back. We thought, okay, Haro was going to be there.
He's on the roster as a token showing.
Yeah. EDG then fell pretty far behind in the standings. They were actually as low as 12th place before ClearLove came back. And once he hit the roster, instant success, instant change. It almost felt like ClearLove never really left at all. If that's the case, it was a pretty good front.
I mean, it's been 6 games in a row now. With JD knocked out, it was Rogue Warriors before that, and then Suning before that. And every single game, we've seen the ClearLove effect in action. We've seen him pick a lane to prioritize and springboard them up in a massive way, whether it's because it's Scout in the mid lane on this LeBlanc, blind pick blue side 2 times in a row. This is 2019. You can't just do that and be expected to get away with it, but still EDG make it happen. Of course, losing my voice here, we turn our attention towards the lane that did see success in this game too. We know it. We love it. Ray, 25.0 KDA. Beat that. Solo queue.
It's absolutely disgusting to watch that performance from Ray. Triumphed over the entire laning phase. Great synergy with his jungle. Great synergy with his mid laner as well. The best performance we've seen Ray put up since he's joined the roster in 2018. Yeah. I should say his second return to the roster. And it really proves a lot of our doubts wrong. It really proves that he is a player that you can invest in the carry sense, in the solo push, in the split push type of sense. We've never really seen that from Ray. He's always had some form of communication issue. Cross map was not his strong suit. And for EDG to work as a team fighting, it almost always seemed like he needed to play a tank.
It was almost the style that almost cost EDG Worlds that past year, seeing Ray split push, and then it was iBoy and Mako would show up across the map 20 minutes and leave Baron undefended. With these really weird cross-map calls and plays, and we had to wonder why that was happening. But seems like they've shored up that weakness. That now brings them to 5-3 as a result, and will help them climb up just a little bit more in our standings as we take a look. Edward Gaming now at 5th place, tied with BLG overall, both of them at +4 points, but EDG has that head-to-head.
The top 8 is just so stacked in our league right now, and this was the effect I was talking about. Second place actually has to play RNG. That doesn't even feel like it's a reward at this point, because you know they're going to ramp up during playoffs. First place, of course, getting Sino Dragons. And just to check up on EDG right now, from 12th place all the way up to 5th place with the addition of ClearLove.
And what
That's
is that,
the ClearLove effect.
a week and a half?
It's only 3 series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just absolutely launching up in the standings. This is what we hoped to see out of them. Of course, still plenty of big names that we need to look out for. Suning chasing that final playoff spot so very close. Team WE right on the cusp as well. And then you've still got Vici, who might have just started something with their win over LGD earlier today.
Yeah, there's still lots of sets to be played. It's week 6, but our future weeks do do have these super days, which is the 3-day sets on the Saturdays and Sundays, so it actually does balance out a little bit. We play 15 sets for each team in total, and we can see the top of the bracket, or FPX, they're only at the halfway point. So there's still half of the split ahead of it, and a lot of these games are super jam-packed. When checking down the schedule, most of the top brass plays each other in week 9, in week 10. So be prepared for that. This is the ramping up phase.
Yeah, and speaking of, let's take a look at tomorrow's matchups. First up, we've got Royal Never Give Up versus V5 in our first game of the day. Just afterwards, Suning are taking on OMG. And to round things out, the Sunday night match, Invictus Gaming versus FPX.
Oh, this one's going to be super spicy. Doinby still undefeated this entire time in match score at the very least. It's going to be our match of the week, and Rookie, of course, saying that he wasn't in form, saying that he was not up to shape, and then delivering us a 14-kill game off the back of that. That seems to be the key word in the LPL. If you say you're not in form, you're going to come up with a massive, massive game.
Clearlove took a year off to sort of reserve all of that power, and now 2019 he comes back in and says, yes, I am fully upgraded. He's been in the hyperbolic time chamber in Dragon Ball Z, just making sure he's ready for the ultimate year of the pig.
Yeah, it seems like ANX, you know, they say, oh, we're going to play World of Warcraft and be like very good at Worlds, and this is Clearlove just streaming most of the split, and suddenly comes back and is like,
where did this come from? Hold on, how did you train? You streamed? That was all right. Whatever.
Okay.
If that works for you. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for tuning in. On behalf of myself, Clement, the whole production and broadcast crew, thank you so much for watching, and have a nice night.